My husband feels so distant from me emotionally. I just feel like he does not understand me or my needs, and he doesn't seem to care. What should I do?
Yeah, that's a big question. And it's a very common question. I think the first thing that I notice is that I notice like when myself, I have a hard reaction to that because it is hard. This is difficult. I feel that you're just wanting to reach out to him and desperately can't get him. You're knocking on that door and he's not answering, and that has to be extremely lonely and distressing.
Right. And at the same time as it's lonely, I also just think of how many other people, women and men, are struggling with the exact same thing in their marriage.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. So I think the first thing that I would want to say is that you're not alone. You may feel that like that, but this matters, right? Connection with your husband matters, and you're not alone. It's okay to feel this way. It is hard. Yeah. Then I would encourage you just to be curious about the situation, be curious about like your needs, and also be curious about what's going on with him.
Right. Yeah. I mean, how do you open up a conversation like that, as the wife who maybe feels hurt or alone? How do you open up that conversation without it being like an attack toward him?
Yeah. Yeah. To me, right? This is my opinion. I think the best way to open those conversations up is make it about ourselves, right? Why I need this and not why you suck, right? That's not necessarily the most clinical term, right? But why this person isn't to blame, right? When we don't like connect, when I feel that distance, I feel really lonely. Right? I really value you and I really want you close, right? I need that. I want that because I love you.
Right. Yeah, and I think going in it with that mindset, one of the best pieces of advice I got before I got married a couple years ago was you are on a team. Like you guys are fighting on the same team.
Mhm.
And I think going into it with that perspective instead of we're on opposite sides really changes the whole conversation. It's like, no, I want to talk to you because we're on the same team and I want to make sure that like we both feel that way.
Yeah, and knowing that your opinion matters too, right? What you're feeling and experience does matter.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So opening up that conversation, when do you feel like as a counselor you would recommend, marriage counseling? Is that something from this question you think would be helpful, or is that the first step that they need to go into, or should they be talking first? What do you kind of recommend?
I think honestly, I've seen it from all perspectives, all steps. So I don't think to me there isn't a necessarily like this is the formula. I think whatever you're comfortable with, right? Maybe you need to have that conversation. But I've also had people come in before they've even started having those conversations, and we've worked for months and months to understand what do I want, how do I frame this well because I don't do it well normally, and how do I get them close. But I've also had them come in like my wife wants me here, or my husband wants me here, and let's go. Or we've tried to start a connect and we've had these conversations and we're getting stuck. Can you help us? I've had all different steps. And so, whatever steps you feel like you need to take before you bring something in, it's okay. I think it's always good to bring in a counselor as soon as you feel comfortable, but it's really up to you.
Yeah, right. I love that. And I just love at the start of answering that question, just the tenderness in your response to this wife. Cause I really, I mean, I was going to say I can't imagine, but I can because I think that that is something that a lot of us who are married experience. I think that there are seasons where we do feel really lonely and misunderstood. And so I do understand to a point what she's saying.
Yeah. And this matters so much. Sue Johnson, who's one of the best couples therapists out there, you can read her books, Hold Me Tight. There's a lot of different resources out there by her. But what she says, and the Bible affirms this too, is that we are socially bonding mammals, meaning that there is only so much isolation and loneliness that we can take before we start freaking out.
Yeah. No, that's so true. And I
Yeah.
love that was God's intention, that we
Mhm.
were designed that way.
Yeah.
I think that that is such a cool part about from the beginning, the Lord just knowing us and knowing what we needed, and being able to provide that need for us through, Adam and then creating Eve.
Yeah, we see the need for connection at the very beginning in Genesis 2.
Right. And knowing that's a part of who God is. That's an image bearing part that we have, that he was connected with the son
Mhm,
and the spirit. And, just it's
mhm.
so cool. It's so neat to me, just God's intentionality in creating us that way.